So I'm joined by Neil Shoebridge after the 0-0 against Blackstones today. Before we start off today, Shuey, I think everyone at the club just agreed on the fact that we'd apologise for the state of the dressing room that we left in at Southall City on Wednesday night. So we all just wanted to say sorry for that. It doesn't reflect how we normally leave it as a club. And
no, not at all. I'm afraid washing your boots in the sink is bang out of order. I endorse the apologies to Southall for that. As far as the rest of the changing room is concerned, it's what you can expect when you've played on a very sticky pitch, and I didn't see any other issues with it that we don't see any other time in the season. But that doesn't excuse people washing the boots in the sink. So somebody's got to go and clean that out, and that's not on. So anyway, we move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And focusing on today's match, quite a frustrating one in my opinion. It looked certainly in the second half like Blackstones came here for the draw.
Yes.
Do you agree with that opinion overall?
Yeah, I didn't think they really offered very much today. On another day we probably could have run out 4-0 winners. We've had 2 or 3 off the line with it the post. We've generally dominated the game, I thought. But these are the horrible ones where somebody can go and sneak one against you and you end up with nothing. So points better than nothing, but we're disappointed.
Yeah, it was important to guard against that, of course. I think the main difference between the first half and the second half was probably the start that we had. Obviously, second halves have been our speciality recently, and presumably there were a few words had to sort of spice us up in the second half there.
Well, I think one of the issues, unfortunately, was that Greg pulled up with a hamstring injury just before half time, which meant that we had to shuffle the pack a bit, and we were a little bit lightweight on the bench today. So it took a bit of time, I think, to get going again in the second half. But when we did get going, I always thought we were going to score.
Yeah.
We just didn't.
Well, that's it. I mean, Tank and Jebin both had their own chances, and Jordan when he came on as well, and I suppose the wide men as well, but it just never really clicked for us, did it?
No, ball didn't quite bounce down enough. I think in the first half, we could have probably got more shots away than we did. The keeper looked quite confident as well. Second half, I thought Jordan came on and put a huge shift in. And dominated the centre half, and on another day might have snuck one.
That's it. And really, I mean, the game was expected to be a hell of a lot better than it was, considering we were 6th and 7th in the table and a bit of a playoff tussle. But where do you think it leaves both teams after this?
Well, I think you just said it there. Really, I mean, we're both struggling to get into those playoffs, and it's ones that you don't want to lose. And I agree with your previous comment. I think they came more for a draw than to win it. It's just that we didn't just have that cutting edge. Because I think if we got one, I think we'd have got 2 or 3.
Yeah. Because
they'd have had to come out and try and play. We move on. Elston Port next week, big one again. They're all big ones now because you're asking lads to play Saturday, Tuesday, right through March and into April, and injuries can start to pile up. We need a big squad, as Marco's always said. But the way we're playing at the minute, I fancy us against anybody.
And just reflecting on today, just a final point on today's game, the penalty shout that we had in added time in the second half there, what were your reflections on that?
Don't walk penalty. Not sure where the referee's positioning was, even their bench agreed that it was penalty. But sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't get them.
Yeah.
And would have been nice, wouldn't it?
It would have been, absolutely. But yes, as you say, we now sort of focus on next week's game, and obviously Ayleston, massive game, isn't it? Whenever you play them at any stage of the season. But
I don't worry about playing Ayleston Port. or anybody up there with us at all. I think on our day we'll more than match anybody. It's sometimes a problem comes against some of the lower teams when we find it difficult to raise up to the standard where we need to be at. But there's still a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that we need in the week's preparation that we have before that game, what is it?
We need to clear up 1 or 2 injuries, hopefully, so that we can go in with a full squad, for the leading. So, other than that, I like what we're doing at the minute.
Yeah, me too.
We just would have liked the 3 points.
No, absolutely. That's it. Well, we'll see you next week, shall we?
We will. Thanks again, Will.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers.